Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Susan Barry. I'm the president and CEO of the Community Foundation. I have my readers on this morning because my vice president for communications, Ann Monell, she's hiding over there, printed out my notes in 10 points. So I cannot read them, even with the glasses. So I was telling Kathy Thompson, who I'll introduce in just a minute or two, about that, and she said, well, just fly by the seat of your pants. And I said, that's what I usually do, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Well, thank you very much. How many of you, this is your first time to the Ali Center? Oh my goodness. For those of you, this is your first time, how many of you are native Louisvillians? Oh my. Well, welcome to the Muhammad Ali Center. I'm new to Louisville 2 years, and I've been here 3 times. See, what you have to do is you have to move around, go to a new community, and start visiting. But I hope this won't be the last time you visit the Muhammad Ali Center. It's a great center built by your friends and neighbors here in Louisville who wanted to honor the great Muhammad Ali. So today we're here to talk about faith origins and philanthropy, and I'm pleased to see such a great crowd. This is our second program in our Focus on Philanthropy series. As many of you know, the Community Foundation has been around about 26 years. We're the largest community foundation in the region and the second largest charitable foundation in the state. We do have our sights on number 1. Can anyone try to guess? And Sunny and Kara, our 2 board members, you're not allowed to guess. And none of our staff. Can anyone guess what our assets might be at the Community Foundation? Becky Phillips, are you here? Becky Phillips and Vicki Buster, you're accountants. What do you think? I'm really putting them on the spot. What do you think? Oh, and you have our CFO next to you, Susan. Linda Speed, you can. Okay, anyone? Well over 300 million. Yes, we are at about close to, our controller James is here, but I'm going to say close to 340 million. Close to 340 million. So we really are a huge philanthropy here in this community and hope to grow, not just so we can say we're the largest, but because we'd like to say when it comes to philanthropy, which is our only business, we're the best. And we count on you as partners to help us day in and day out to realize that potential. All right, I have a few things that I absolutely need to do, and one is to make sure that you understand what kind of led us to our discussion today. Many of you know us as an organization that holds endowed funds and works to distribute grants to the community. We have several of our grants committee members here as well. But what you might not know is as we kind of look toward the next 25, 50 years, we're looking at how can we be a voice for philanthropy in this region. And that's why we decided to have this kind of session today, so that it's not about, well, it could be about what you might want to give yourself, but it's more about traditions in philanthropy. How can we encourage and inspire the conversation about philanthropy? We're grateful to our program sponsor, the Center for Interfaith Relations, for helping us with today's program. And our moderator today, Turney Berry, is chair of the board of the Center for Interfaith Relations. Before I move on, I also want to acknowledge our series sponsor, Stockyards Bank and Trust, for their support. And I'd like to invite Kathy Thompson, Senior Executive Vice President, who flies by the seat of your pants, is that what you said? Yes. To say a few words on their behalf.
Thank you. Now, Susan, everybody knows I fly by the seat of my pants. Thank you, Susan, for saying that. I won't take much of your time. I just want to say, on behalf of Stockyards Bank, it truly is a pleasure to be the sponsor of this series with the Louisville Community Foundation. If many of you know, we've been a part of this community since 1904, so the community is very important to us. And this was a way for Stockyards to be a part of the Louisville Community Foundation, to work in our ways, so that maybe we could help to give back to the community. We have just created a donor-advised fund in combination with the Louisville Community Foundation, so that we can work with other donors that are out there that are our clients to look for ways to give back to the community. So You've got a great panel here today, and I'm delighted to be a part of it, and I'm sure Tony will make it very interesting as the moderator. So, again, thanks for coming, and it's our pleasure to be a part of this. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you. Just a few more words. Thanks, Kathy. I want to make sure I properly introduce a couple of board members that are here today. Sunny Altman and Kara Banowski. Could you, if you can't stand, just give a wave. Sunny is chair of our board, and Kara's been on our board for several years, and we appreciate them being here. As I said, there are several committee members from several of our grants and other kinds of committees at the Community Foundation here today, and I recognize, I see some of you, but I really don't want to start naming you out and then missing someone, but thank you for coming. As we say at the Community Foundation, anyone can be a philanthropist, and oftentimes that first philanthropic experience is through a religious institution. And it's not in my notes, and Anne will probably chide me later for saying this, but I wanted to just mention my experience with philanthropy through a religious institution. I happen to be Catholic, and I always say I happen to be Catholic, but I am Catholic, and I grew up in a large Catholic family in Rhode Island. And I remember some of my first memories of philanthropy, and again, I didn't think about it as philanthropy, but 7 kids trying to get off to church, to Mass with my mother. My dad didn't go to Mass, which is very common in the Catholic tradition. For those of you who are, the mom goes, there's lots of moms lined up with their kids, and my mom would be sitting at the dining room table. We'd all be running around getting our clothes on. In those days, you had to get dressed up to go to church. And we had our clothes laid out, and my mom would say, "Someone get me the budget." Now, I've tried this out on Bishop Medley. He had no idea what I was talking about, so I'm going to tell you. Someone get me the budget. Our tradition, the envelopes that you put in the basket, we called them budget envelopes. We didn't even use the term envelopes. Get me the budget. So there was obviously, I'm not sure if it was a New England thing or this particular, I don't think it was the church. I think it was a New England thing. So the idea that my mother budgeted for giving to the church. Now here, when I say budget, the priest at my church has no idea what I'm talking about. He probably thinks, oh, she has problems with her budget or something. But the truth is, every week my mom took cash. Now I know you can do direct deposit and write checks and things like that. But we watched her. That was important. Before we went to church, get me the budget. We all ran to find it. We never had it in the same place. You know, it was always moving around. But then every week, we saw my mom put money into the basket or the budget. We never saw how much was in there because that was kind of a private thing. But I wanted to let you know that, you know, from my earliest memories, that was church was where I first witnessed philanthropy and a family tradition of giving through my church. So I wanted to mention that because I think that if today's program encourages you to do anything, is to think about your own faith traditions and how important that is. Some of you are my age, some a little older, some younger. That over the years it becomes even more important and more apparent. So today we're going to hear from our panelists, and we're going to talk about faith traditions perspective. Please note that the program today is being videographed, so we will have time for questions and answers. I'm not suggesting that you can't speak freely, but please understand that this will be on video and be on our websites and things like that, so you are encouraged to speak freely, but we'll have a record of it. So there you go. Let me see, what else do I want to say? I was going to introduce our panelists, but instead Attorney Berry will be doing that. Attorney Berry is a partner at the Wyatt firm here in Louisville, chair of the Center for Interfaith Relations, and a good friend, actually legal counsel at the foundation, and a good friend of many of you here today, and a good friend of many of the panelists. So I'm going to turn the program over to Attorney, who's going to introduce our panelists and get going. Thanks very much.